This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Guardian Radio Today is brought to you by Bahamar and Prince Masters.
And welcome to Guardian Radio Today with your host, Dr. Cleveland W. News III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah. It is a beautiful Tuesday, the 4th of November. Where did the year go? Boy, we are happy to be here with you today. And today, you know, we can have some fun talking a bit of politics. I know politics is in the air. You know, I ain't gonna talk about politics like everyone else talk about politics. I got my good sidekick today, Dr. Rudy Tinker. My brother, how you doing? Let's see if he's got his mic on.
Man, I'm hanging in there. Figured you probably was lost in space with all those commercials.
You know, we got to make sure we pay the bills, you know what I'm saying? And make sure everyone knows what's going on. How you been, man?
Hanging in there, man. Just watching politics here and abroad.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. You know, you and I, one of the things we talked about recently was, you know, what's the difference between these political parties and why do people, you know, decide one way or the other to vote or become a card-carrying member or a T-shirt wearer of a political party, right? I'm sure it's the same thing over there in America. You got your diehards, you got your people who swear by it. But I want us to talk about it because, not only because there's a looming by-election, we know that there's also a general election also looming right behind this by-election, right? I was someplace recently and I overheard a conversation where people were talking about how this political season was gonna be, right? And they was like, boy, this could be a nasty political season. And I say, wow, you know. But I'm just listening. I'm a bee in the tree. Some people just be a fly on the wall. I'm a bee in the tree, right? But from your vantage point, my brother, from what you've been seeing, right? And I'm going to read through some stuff eventually regarding what I have found to be, I guess, the key differences, right? Which I still don't really see the key differences, but just for the sake of the conversation, right? What do you see? You know, you're a son of you like me. When we was growing up, it was just PLP and FNM. That was it. You know, I mean,
yeah. You know, you're right there, but you know, I always like to go to the roots.
Go ahead.
Dig a little deep and go to the roots, and to get a clear understanding, if we even know what a political party is.
Yeah, let's go there. Let's go there. I like that.
Let's start there.
I like that. See, because when you look at some of these gatherings, some people say, "Man, these just gangs, man." You know what I mean?
Gangs. So when we look at really, you know, can we say could the government operate without a political party? First of all, the answer would be no, because there would be too many independents running around and nothing could be done.
But when the UBP was in power, were not they a group of independents? They weren't a political party officially, right?
But they said UBP, so they still came under that one umbrella.
Okay.
So when we understand what the terminology of political party means, we have to look at it as an organized group of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who have similar ideas, because that's why they came together,
Right.
who have similar values, goals on how they see the country should be governed.
Mm-hmm.
And when people differ from how that political party, their goals, their vision, their ideas, then they go and they offshoot and create another political party. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what we had, the offshoot of the UBP into the PLP, the offshoot of the PLP into the FNM, the offshoot of FNM into the DNA, and et cetera, et cetera. Because people have different opinions and different views and ideologies on how they think the government should operate, how they think the leadership of the party should operate, how they see fit on what the government should do for the people of the country. So that's kind of the foundation of political parties, because if you have, let's say, you got 40 members of parliament, voices in there, nothing will ever get done because they can't agree on one thing.
Right.
So you got these parties there that create this vision based on the consensus of the people, and that's how it's supposed to be, to say, okay, we have this structure, the people are buying it, they believe in this, so we're going to go to the people, get voted in, and this is going to be the mandate. But the biggest problem I have with, political parties, whether it be, let's just focus on the Bahamas, is the fact that I think after a while it becomes too cultic. Where people tend to lose, they get lost in it.
Right.
And then it's not about the country anymore. It's about the political party and their constitution. Because the political party, when you look at the political party and the political party constitution, the political party really trumps that of the Bahamas constitution in a sense. Because I give you certain examples like there and many others. I mean, he said on national news, he said even though he know you have problems in Marathon, he can't talk about it because it goes against the party constitution and he can lose his job. You understand?
Yeah.
And when you look at the parliamentary democracy, if you go against the leadership of the party, then you have to resign.
Right.
And
Which
lose
is crazy.
That position. Right.
Which is crazy.
Now, and my, I met him a few times. I would say, I wouldn't call him my friend because we didn't associate like that. But I met him on the radio. I met him before he became an MP. He recently died there. Vaughn Miller.
Yeah.
And Vaughn Miller left the FNM for the same reason. His ideals didn't line up with the party's position, so he jumped ship. Travis Robinson, when Minnis was going to raise the tax, he said you shouldn't do that, and he lost his job. And then the other, I forget the other two guys.
His cabinet post. His cabinet. He still was FNM, but he just wasn't in the cabinet.
He still was an FNM, and he has to decide whether he wants to sit on that backbench or walk the floor. So we saw Vaughn Miller walk the floor, where he was welcomed by the opposition because the more voices they have, the better.
Yeah.
But when we look at it really in the Bahamas, really it's quite upsetting is the fact that the political party strangles the consensus of what I think Bahamians want. And you can hear some of some of the things people say.
Yeah.
PLP or nothing. All the way.
All the way, boy. That's what they say. All the way.
They
mean that, you know.
So,
they mean that.
No matter what this group does,
they mean that, but
they going all the way. They need to make a song about it. They got a song about that.
Probably.
You understand? and then you have, and then the thing is with the PLP, which is that I think a lot of black Bahamians, just like in America, when you look at the Democratic Party, think they owe the PLP something. Okay, so Lyndon, Prime Minister, the first Prime Minister of the Bahamas, he did what he had to do. In my opinion, he stayed too long. I think he should have did 15 years and go write books and retired. But he stayed until he was defeated. But many black Bahamians, and I hear the sentiment, especially all the black Bahamians, feel that they owe everything to this party, no matter how much this party screw up and don't progress. They think they have to vote this way because the PLP delivered them from the UBP or delivered them from England. So they have this Moses ideology that they have to keep crossing the Red Sea with this party who's leaving them in the middle of the Red Sea.
Right. Red Sea of that.
I ain't teaching them how to grab some fish out of this Red Sea. Only say we can feed you when you get across to the other side. You see?
Yeah. You know.
And then
go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. No, finish.
Go ahead. So then, when you look at the FNM, who was born out of this monster, which again, as soon as they were born out of the monster, as you look, they other party politics, all the different branches of the PLP, because why? That's what they know. They didn't know any different. So they set up the same red monster machine. And many FNMs who were delivered by this machine, the red machine, feel that they owe a debt of gratitude to the FNM because I was going to say Abraham Lincoln, but no, Ingram. Ingram gave them free radio. Open the airwaves.
Open it up. Yeah.
Gave them road to drive. And did some other things. So they feel they owe a gratitude to the FNM. But even though we see FNMs look like they flip flop every now and then, so they're not as they're not drinking the juice too heavily as the main party that of the PLP. And then you have these other French groups who I see them as they have this God, how can I say this God vision that God told them when they that they're going to be prime minister.
Come on.
No,
God told them that they have to present themselves for service.
Exactly. And they could be prime minister and they ain't joining no other group. They taking 40 candidates and they can run and they can be prime minister of the Bahamas and change the world. And then we see this like the lady who, bless her heart, who's been running forever. What's her name? Ali McIntosh.
Yeah, Constitution.
Ali McIntosh ain't joining with nobody.
Yeah.
Ali McIntosh figure,
she
can
friend.
be prime
my
minister.
Good friend. Yes.
No matter how many times she loses and get her money back, she can be prime minister. And we saw this with the other guy. We're seeing this with COI. He has that image also. We saw the DNA was a little different because there was movements in the head of the leadership. And the other group is that guy, I forgot his name, is the one said he have to activate himself because the COI get run and he need to activate and start E-Party.
Oh, you mean Stuart?
That guy. Yeah.
Cassius.
So you have the splinter groups who will not get along with each other because they have this godly ideology that the God sent them to conquer Goliath to become prime minister. So that's why the two major groups continue to run the country. You know?
So my thing is, and I hear you on all of that. I think there's the three-headed monster, right, that I think we're always dealing with is the PLP, the FNM, and the electorate. See, I don't want the electorate to get away from this because electorate is as guilty for this country being in the state that it's in as the political parties are.
You know, I would not blame the electorate. You know why?
Go ahead.
Because when governments bastardize their economy, and I mean bastardize their economy, and the tentacles of the political party is throughout the entire country, and everything you need have to come from one of them. So how do you expect the people to vote? The people voting for their existence.
So
they're voting for that job. They're voting for that scholarship. They're voting for that roof.
See,
they're voting for this. They're voting for that.
You're going right down the road I want to go down. That's
let's go.
Yeah. see. You know this idea of campaign finance reform, right? We don't know how these political parties get their money. We don't necessarily know how they spend their money. There's a fog over how monies move around these political parties, which takes us down the same road you just started walking us down, right? The electorate don't care about this country. The electorate care about roof or job or T-shirt, wherever they land on the spectrum, right? That's all they care about. I'm not saying that's everybody, but I'm saying it's the majority. Because we keep flip-flopping. We don't vote parties in. All right? We vote parties out. And it just so happens that the sitting opposition is usually in line to jump right back where they left off.
Yep.
You understand?
With no clear indication on how they're gonna take us on the other side of the Red Sea, but only to blame the other parties for what they didn't do.
Right.
And the people in the middle, the monkey in the middle, which is the electorates, they get confused by this argument, and it becomes like a soccer match. That's my party, and you can't blame us because y'all did that the last time.
Ah.
You did that. Well, boy, y'all know we got to do that too.
See that
But
right
they
there.
get crucified. They are getting crucified while they play this game that they have no idea that they're playing.
Right. Right.
And you can't tell a Bahamian he don't know politics.
Of course not. Would you call it rum shop politics?
They know rumshop politics because if they knew a higher level of politics, they wouldn't allow, according to KB, these jokey leaders to do these jokey things in this jokey town. You understand? So that's why in many cases, I don't blame them so much because these guys in the red machine and the gold machine, they do this so the people can be confused, because when you have chaos, you have corruption. Corruption thrives in a chaotic environment.
Yes, I agree.
If there's no chaos, you can't have corruption because people are focused.
Yeah, that's that's the best way for money to start moving around and things to start
Yeah.
happening is in chaos.
Let them argue amongst themselves. Let them wear their red shirt, their pink shirt, their blue shirt. But we at the top, let's do what we got to do, and let them keep making noise. And we can have we can have a convention every now and then to rally up the troops. We can have one cookout. We can have a south out. We can have this. We can have that. But they still suffering. But they don't get the picture because we haven't woken them up yet.
For example, they have these by-elections coming up, right? One of the opinions of the leader of the opposition, Mr. Michael Pintard, was that, listen, man, let's just go right into a general election. We can spend all this money on a by-election when, the country's suffering, right? Why we can waste all this money on this by-election when we could just go into a general election. Of course, I knew the ruling or governing party wasn't going to go for that because they have their own agenda, right?
Right.
Now, it just made me think, though, how much money they spending on these by-elections, right? Now, if you do any research on it, they can tell you ain't no clear-cut figure. Ain't no real transparent numbers out there to say exactly how much money is being spent on these by-elections or even a general election, right? And
But the bigger question would be, sorry to cut you, but the bigger question would be, is not the money spent, is this the taxpayers' money?
All of that. See,
That's the real question.
All of that. So when they had the by-election in West End, right, a couple of years ago, right, they talk about $100,000 being spent on traveling and different things like that. Of course, the PLP retorted and said, no, man, spend the government money for that. The Prime Minister was doing different things on the island, and he just end up at the rallies and different things at the end of the day. He said, you want him to go fly back to Nassau and then have the party pay for him to come back? No, he already there. He was already there. You see what I'm saying? Well played. Well played, right? But to think that there are people out there, right, who are gonna essentially lose money when they decide to go into politics, right? Especially if they don't get into, let's look at Sabas, Mr. Bastian, right? He's a multi-millionaire. Clearly, he can't be going into this for the money because, MP, they getting paid less than $30,000 a year, right? And according to the laws of this country, he cannot become a cabinet minister, right? At this time, because he is the business that he's a part of, right? The gaming industry or what have you. And so this always, and I'm just using him as an example. I'm not making it about him, right? Because there are other people who have business ventures that pay them way more than the salary of an MP. But they spend all this money, right, on campaigning, right? Then they're only going to get paid a certain amount of money. And they keep going in as long as we will allow them to stay in politics. You have these career politicians.
because it's not about the $30,000. It's about access and
Mm-hmm.
influence.
Mm-hmm.
Access and influence is worth more than $30,000.
Yeah, right. Talk about
See,
that.
that's what you have to, that's what you have to look at, and this access and influence is a conflict of interest, and we've seen this multiple times. Again, I mean, you look at the current Attorney General. You know, when he decided to go work for a bank, the dude was a part of the PLP, junior minister of finance or minister of state for finance, making policies and legislation for the banking industry, and then can say, "Oh, I can't give up this awesome opportunity because of my family, so I decide to resign, and I can take this offer from Deltec Bank." And we don't know if this fella put policies forward, voted in favor of Deltec Bank. I mean, we could assume that because he's working for them. And then he left the job and he go on and vote for them. And the prime minister of the country, who's supposed to be a lawyer, who might not even understand what conflict of interest is, say, I could understand him during that too, because you got to look out for your family, and if I was in that position, I might have to do that too. So
you got to go get that bag, man. Let's just put it in today's terms. You got to go get that bag. You know what I mean?
Right. So he go on and he do that, and then he come back under the new PLP again. Now he's Attorney General. God knows what sort of legislation he putting in for himself now to open up a super duper nuclear law office now when he probably get out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know, if we don't see these things as conflict of interest, then it got to be something wrong with our electorate and something wrong with the education system. Why our people can't see these things? Why they can't call spade a spade and protest against that and demand better?
The leaders are only going to do in this country what we allow them to do, right? We see these things, right? We talk about, right, this move. This is just an example, right? That was 2014 when he resigned from his post. This is Ryan Pinto. Resigned from his post, Minister of Finance Services, to take a senior executive position, head of wealth management, chief legal officer with the private bank Deltec. This, of course, sparked significant debate and criticism from political opponents and observers. However, Mr. Pinto said, listen, man, Deltec is a world-class financial institution. And he held them in high regard, stating the offer was an opportunity he couldn't pass up for the benefit of his family.
All right. Then what's the Bahamian government then? What was the Bahamian government? A doghouse organization?
Well, they wasn't Deltec.
That wasn't Deltec.
Let's run to the phone lines here, 323-6232.
But he's back working for the government again.
Again, 325-4316, 325-4259 in the family of islands, 242-300-5720. Of course, we are powered by BTC on the text line, 422-4796. Our specialty, Dr. Rudolph Tinker. One of the texts is asking, that's who the guest is, Dr. Rudolph Tinker. Let's run to the phone lines, and then we'll get to some of the texts. Call you live.
Hey, good day, Uncle.
How you doing, man?
How you doing?
Great.
Yeah, this is Dennis the Cube.
Hey, what's going on, man?
From A.F. Adley.
Oh, wow.
This
one of your schoolies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you come after me and been down and might as well order them. Yeah, okay? Yeah, well, when you also say, we try and bounce and go and do back and say anything and do anything. Yesterday I see when I call in online show with that PLP advertisement, right?
Mm-hmm.
They ain't play it since.
Oh, that was you call. I heard that conversation.
Yeah, when Pix talk to Emma, I think they recorded that. They pre-recorded that sometime before.
And they just pull it out again.
Nomination on Friday, whenever.
Yeah.
But they wrong for that because they ought to know better because some of them supposed to be intelligent people.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So brother Tinker, you said they jump back and forth and all the rest of that. You have to remember one thing too. Ryan the Lion, you know who his daddy was, who his family is. His daddy is a lawyer, and them things, it's a powerful house, and him making that decision. Would you say, Uncle? The Bahamian populace was not Deltec Bank, eh?
Right.
When he made that decision.
Yeah.
But that's how we have to
Deltec is a world-class financial institution.
Bahamian is
well,
a doghouse.
I know because my daughter just was working with them the other day.
Yeah.
She's,
Yeah, I got one of my former students working there. It's a good place. It's a good place to work.
But not only him went to Delbac. The other boys, something rule went there too. Bach, what the other boy name? Another PLP guy is over there now as the VP. Caucus rule.
Oh, Bacchus?
Bacchus, he's over there. He's over there also. Let me pull him up. He's over there too, and he was a PLP. I think he might have been a junior minister at the time. Who?
I'm not sure if this is the same person.
He's a member of parliament. I'm careless.
Careless Rule. There you go.
Okay,
Careless Rule.
Careless. Okay.
As a VP after the PLP loss, he got a job over there. There must be statutory limitations on conflict of interest on anything that you doing as a government official. When you get out, you must be barred from these organizations because we don't know if you was influenced while you were in office. So we can't let you go from there, from office to a private industry right away. It should be a 5-year a 5-year grace period for you to work back in the field that you was doing for the government. If not, we'll be spinning circles.
Hello. Yeah, but we have to speak up for our brothers and sisters who may not understand the business side of what's happening and the legal side of what's happening with mixed with the politics, because most of them, like you say, did with education, right?
So that's my thing is this, right? I'm not trying to get on any one person or talk about how people choose to take care of their family, right? My thing is this. We have a country that needs to function in a way that can benefit us all. One of the things Vaughn Miller was known for saying is make the wealth common in the Commonwealth, right? Yep. That's not happening. And I think that, there are people who they want to do the best for this country. They want to do what's right for this country. But the systems that are in place, it is such that it seems that the only way I remember having a conversation with Mr. Charles Carter when he was still alive. It was not just me, but a couple of us. We were just bantering around and saying how many millionaires in this country that are not affiliated with politics, right? And it wasn't too many names because that just seems to be a pathway. As one of the taxes are saying, none of these guys go into it for the salary. They go into it for power and for access to rub shoulders with the ultra rich, access to contracts, billions of dollars at stake, right?
Like I said, the influence.
Yeah. So it's like the system is broken, and I have to put the electorate, on the chopping block too, because we keep voting these parties back in, or I should say we keep voting a party out and allowing the other one in. You understand? And so, at the end of the day, the third parties, they try, the DNA, I think if the DNA had stuck in there, maybe this would have been their election.
I'll give you an example. That's well. I mean, he got appointed there. Let's look at the Supreme Court Justice. What that boy name? His daughter's running for the FNM right now.
See, I won't start calling too much names.
No,
right?
It ain't name. This is facts.
Right.
The former Chief Justice.
See, you ain't coming to go out with me. You need people come.
No, this is facts. The former Chief Justice of the Bahamas left his post and went straight to legal practice. Now, how is that? How does that even make sense?
So you're concerned.
You're the top head of the court.
Your concern
and you're gonna go in private practice after, which means he would have to recuse himself from every case.
So you're saying it's just too incestuous. This whole idea of people being able to bounce in and out of politics is an incestuous type of relationship. Like you are at a advantage because you were behind the curtain in one dispensation, and then immediately you jump from behind the curtain, and now you have information that the regular person would not normally have. I understand
exactly.
Let's run.
And it's a conflict. It's a clear conflict of interest. It's a clear disadvantage on whoever this person is going against. I mean, one thing before we go to the call, but take a look at right now the Minister of National Security, which we know this guy's a defense attorney. It's probably one of the top defense, KC in the Bahamas. Now, when he finished, you think it's right for him now to go back in his private office?
So how would we address that? How would we address?
You have to put it in law.
So that's what I'm saying. As the electorate, right?
We have to petition. We have to petition that there must, the legal term is called, there must be a cooling off period after ministers or people of high ranking positions that work for the government of the Bahamas, that they cannot go directly back into the same field that they would have left because of the conflict.
We need to lobby for a cooling off period. That's what we need. All right, let's run back to the phone lines. And these are things that I throw at the electorate, because if we are serious about this country, getting to where it could be, these are some of the things that we need to be talking to these MPs and their representatives about when they come knocking on our doors. You understand? Let's run back to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio today. Call your life. Caller going once.
Oh, hello.
Hey, right here.
Good afternoon, Poppy. How y'all doing?
One Papa, how you doing, brother?
Thank God for life as usual, my brother.
Yeah, man.
The cooling off period, it sounds good. I think we mentioned that before, and I agree with it. And I'm not sure. I heard an example give of a former Chief Justice, but I guess this present Chief Justice had a cooling off period because he came out of the law firm without calling any names. And I think he's doing a good job. I think he's a nice fellow. I don't know if that got anything to do with it, but he came out of law firm like most of them.
No, niceness ain't got nothing to do with it.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. Uncle, before I ask these two questions, hang up and listen, right?
Yeah.
I remember Mr. Tinker's voice, right? And name, right? But I like I don't know if it's something to do with getting old or something. Maybe Mr. Tinker will let me know that too. It's nothing to do with getting old. But I can't remember. I can't remember where he's not. His voice is not a stranger to the radio.
No, it's not.
This is not the first time. I just can't remember what station, but who used to be listening to him. For some reason, I think he was doing a good job. I guess that's why he's back again. I just know he's not a stranger. His voice is not a stranger to us here.
He ain't no rookie.
Regular callers like me, I'm familiar with him. The two questions is that I wanted to know how you feel about it. The Prime Minister mentioned something a few months ago to the media that he believed these particular police officers, defense force officers who are being charged in the New York court, is something to do with entrapment. I was wondering if he's following that, and if he thinks the Prime Minister is out of order to say something like that, and should we understand and sympathize with an officer who might get entrapped, or does he have a duty and a job to do? The second thing, Mr. Tinker, when the government changed, there are some people who was either brought before the courts or feel like they dealt with in this country, and they sue the government. And this present government, our Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance, Brave Davis, they settle with a lot of them. And when we ask the question, like would you give them? They say it ain't good. I paraphrase, trying to paraphrase. They say they cannot or they don't think it's good for them to tell us whether they give a former member of Parliament who was a part of this party, what is the government, or the former commissioner or his assistant. And I feel like that's something what we should know. Should we demand, is the government wrong for not giving that information to us? The kind of money would they settle for with these people?
Unless they sign, I'll go with the last part of the question. Unless they sign a NDA, but even the government really can't be in business of doing NDAs, because if you can settle with someone that's public information, it means you don't have a proper Freedom of Information Act.
Right.
So that's probably why they don't have the Freedom of Information Act. The government has the ability to redact, which means to black out. They can give you a piece of paper and redact 99% of the document.
All you get is a bunch of black lines. Yeah.
With your name on it only.
Yeah.
So the first part of his question was the guys who got hemmed up in the U.S. Listen, okay, no one put guns to their head. I don't think they were coerced or they were under duress to jump on the plane, fly into U.S. territory, and do what they did. Okay? And our courts, the court systems in the U.S., they don't care who talks about the case. So by the Prime Minister making such comment, that doesn't impede on the case. Unlike the Bahamas, where they make a big deal out of, oh, you can't talk about the case because the case is before the court, which I think is ludicrous. But we don't care what anybody says. If the prosecutor has enough information to prosecute you, the case is going to go forward, no matter what influence the Prime Minister might have. The only influence he could possibly have if he has some sort of prisoner swap. The some Americans in the Bahamas, I don't think we have any prisoner swaps to do, so these guys might be going for a while.
The only thing about that whole situation that was a little weird is they didn't name this unnamed politician in that whole case, right? That just seemed like that was...
The U.S. mightn't do that right now until they finish their whole investigation, because if they could bring that unnamed politician, if they put him in witness protection, then they're going to make him sing like a pot cake. He's going to give up everybody.
Well, listen, we're going to run to a break here on Guardian Radio today. Our special guest, Dr. Rudolph Tinker. My name is Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III. We're going to be back after this break. Keep it locked.
Boy, why you look so mashed up like clothes at the washer?
No, boy, just a hard day, boy.
Hard day? What happened? The breakfast lady ran out of tuna and gritsy.
We need to start joking about everything, you know. This serious, boy. This real serious, boy.
Boy, what's serious? Tell me.
All right, well, today, boss gave us, boy, one big contract. And nobody else get a chance and nobody say nothing.
Boy, you know that ain't right. You know government contracts ain't supposed to go that way.
Yeah, but nobody's saying nothing. Boss man just tell people to sign the papers. Then he send me to meet this boy downtown and collect this envelope.
You need to tell somebody. You need to become a whistleblower.
You know I's a real man, but I never blow no whistle. I be drunk all my life and drunk, you know.
No way. A whistleblower is someone who tells people what they see when they see something wrong happening at work.
But I ain't no whistleblower, and I ain't no snitch. I still white there, you know.
But ain't nobody can know it's you. All you gotta do is call Crime Stoppers, or you could text them from inside the crack crime, but the call goes straight through to Miami, so nobody know you is. And if you text, your message get mixed up like Kong Salad.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau, or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
If you come from the island, you know nothing is more important than family. I am Brian Brown, and the people of Golden Isles are my family. I'm proud to serve my neighbors and friends. I'm asking for your vote to be your next MP. I believe in showing up all the time, not just election time. So on November 24th, vote F&M, because this time around, we are going with Brian Brown.
Paid for by the Free National Movement.
Don't wait for a storm to arrive. Stock up on hurricane supplies, make home repairs, purchase a generator, and more this hurricane season with a Fidelity personal loan. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And we're back here on Guardian Radio today with your host, Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III. Our special guest today, Dr. Rudolph Tinker. And I appreciate all of the texts that are coming through. People are saying that they're enjoying this conversation. As we talk politics, and for me, I've injected the electorate into this conversation because I just don't think that we are being as responsible as we can be as an electorate. Dr. Tinker has been on several of these shows and been saying, listen, as the electorate, you know, you can sign petitions, you know, you can get in the street and march. There's things we can do to change the outcome that we see in this country. Let's run to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio today. Caller, you're live.
Good afternoon to both of you, Tinker and Doctor.
How you doing, brother?
Uncle, I'm good. I'm happy to learn about the phrase rum shop politics. I never thought of it that way before.
As Dr. Tinker brought that to us, yes.
That's quite powerful.
Yeah.
But I am with you, Uncle. The electorate is equally responsible because I think you may have called us dog house hosts.
Did I?
And I do remember that you find parasites in cats and dogs and pathogens in animals. And the pathogen is one that, it destroys the immune system. So it looks like when we elect and convert a parasite to a pathogen and they become the leader of the country, then they actually affect the immunity of the whole electorate. And that's what has happened to Bahamians. Our immune system has been compromised, and it's going to be a long time before we stop switching between parasites and pathogens as electors, okay?
Wow.
That's our issue right there. But Dr. Tink, I want to challenge you with a question to see if you are bold enough to answer it without being deported.
Well, you know I can answer that question. Let's go.
Okay. You have a pathogen in the United States who's attempting to convert $33 trillion debt into crypto and write the debt off. I don't know if you're familiar with his fictitious plan. Is that possible for him to accomplish? And if he does, how would that affect our Bahamian dollar, which is linked to the U.S. dollar? I'm going to hang up and listen to your great response.
All right. So he made a good analogy there, the pathogen analogy, because in many cases, for example, when let's say when the house and the primary person is affected, you normally have to treat both. So you educate the masses and you educate the politicians so we could wash ourselves off and then we could move forward in a healthy manner. And that's one of the issues that we have in the country, where the affected individuals are coming directly from the public and going into parliament. So would you expect them to do different?
Right.
Nothing much, because they still don't understand, because we've never taught them. In the case of the position he talked about, the U.S., sadly right now, the American Supreme Court is a total of 5 conservatives and 4 liberals. Sadly, under that, which means anything this guy wants right now can get approved through the Supreme Court. And he's been using the Supreme Court power very, very willy-nilly, and this is kind of historic. He's also been approved for immunity based on the things that he's done, would have do in his office as the president. In my opinion, I've seen a lot of things that would be a conflict of interest, but the thing is that this is the first time you have someone that has full control of the judicial branch, full control of the legislature, which cripples the checks and balance and something we call the separation of power. He's totally diluted that to the point where these guys are voting hardcore party line.
Yeah.
Some of the people that we've seen and appointed to positions would never get there on a regular day. But because he has the overwhelming support from both chairs in the legislature and support in the judiciary, liquidate this stuff. I don't see it affecting the Bahamian dollar like that, because I don't really see regionally most people, even though crypto is pretty popular, I don't think most people still invest in crypto. And I don't really care for crypto at all, because you can't tell me Bitcoin is worth $130,000 where Bitcoin does not invest in anything. Bitcoin doesn't receive any dividends. Like, for example, if you buy Coca-Cola stocks for $1 and Coca-Cola just sold $20 billion worth of Coke products, that means now people are going to buy more Coke stocks because the company is growing. As when you look at the Bitcoin, how's it growing? It only grows when people buy it. To me, I think it's a perfect Ponzi scheme that the guys that would have bought low sell high and they make a reward.
Right.
Because if everybody right now would have sold Bitcoin, Bitcoin couldn't pay everybody off because they don't have the money.
Right.
But that's kind of for another
Yeah. That's a great question by the call. Let's run back to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio today. Caller, you're live. Caller going once. All right, let's run to the next caller. Caller, you're live here on Guardian Radio today.
Yes. Hi.
How you doing?
I like the way this conversation is going, right?
Yes, sir.
But, it all comes down to who's doing what, I guess. But for the last 15 minutes, a phrase has been going through my head. Who you know?
Who you know, my Lord.
Who you know.
Man, I like that. That got to get placed on the table too. Who you know. That's a serious thing, you know.
It is in the Bahamas.
We talk all the stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we in the kitchen, and the other guy ain't cooking, and he ain't got access to nothing,
right?
And we cooking, we feed who we know.
My Lord.
Okay?
Definitely,
Now,
you definitely can feed them first.
Now, I kind of disagree with Doctor, with the good man on his next door thing, right? Because the guys who are not in power, they did more with less in terms of getting their agendas straightened out. Okay? Now, it all kind of revolves around who's getting what and what is being done. But back home, on the 21/7, this issue of who you know needs to be addressed more urgently. Okay?
But how you gonna do it though? How you gonna address that?
Well, see, it's easy to address it as an electorate. We have a political bill in terms of getting these things straightened out. Because when those guys come in and out of power, and the first thing they do is they create a consultancy. They create a consultancy company, man. And
exactly.
And they got friends. See, and as far as I'm concerned, the most powerful persons in this country right now are the permanent secretaries.
Yep.
They are the fellows
disagree with that position.
They are the fellows, their jobs don't change. They are not elected as such.
Yep.
But they exercise an inordinate amount of power in this country. We have to do something in terms of how we regulate those who regulate us.
Those permanent secretaries need to be. They need to go. I think modify the prime minister position where sometimes he would put junior ministers as sitting officials over these different secretaries over these different ministries. If you look at the U.S. system, the president picks his entire cabinet, right? And the cabinet is made up of secretaries. The same thing could happen in the Bahamas. No prime minister should accept previous secretaries of the different agencies. They need to go every 5 years.
No. What name is that? Okay, but I think that permanent secretaries, like politicians, should have term limits.
Should have what? Term limited. Yeah, and he's saying it's 5 years.
Well, he said term limits, but
right.
No. He said 10 or 15, but
not 5.
Yeah,
listen, that's definitely a conversation that can be had. Because
let me expand on that a little bit more. What I mean when I talk about the permanent secretaries is the fact that I think permanent secretaries that the new party's vision, the new elected government vision, because a lot of them are still silking in the old administration because they might favor the old administration.
Well,
so any new government come in should replace all of those permanent secretaries with new people who could push their agenda forward in the organization.
Let's dive into it right after the break. I want to dive into it some more because that could be another point of contention in this whole machinery, political machinery. We're gonna run to the break. We gotta go to news and pay some bills. We'll be back right after this on 96.9. Keep it locked.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
And we're back here on Guardian Radio today with your host, Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Enius III. Our special guest today, Dr. Rudolph Tinker. We're talking some politics, and before the break, we were finishing or tying up a conversation about permitting. I just pulled up some information on where the origins. Obviously, we know it's from Britain somewhere, right? The British Westminster system of government is rooted in this. It was formalized following the Northcote Trevelyan Report of 1854, which recommended a professional civil service based on merit rather than political patronage. A core principle of this reform was the establishment of a body of officials who would remain in office regardless of changes in the elected government, thereby ensuring administrative continuity. The term permanent secretary was adopted to designate the most senior career civil servant in a government department who would provide impartial advice and manage the department's operations under the direction of the politically appointed minister. So this was supposed to stop the political
continuity of government.
The continuity of government, and we see that. But
it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be. But how do you can't really control a person's political persuasion per se.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the country is too small.
Yeah.
So because of that, when we look at our little town and we look at some of these permanent secretaries that have been floating from different departments, from the departments holding the same position, some of them that manage 3 or 4 departments. But the understanding on what you was reading, it said through meritocracy, which means they supposed to be the best of the best in that field. And the problem is you're not getting it. A man who is the permanent secretary of national security going to be the permanent secretary of foreign affairs is insane. So for our little tiny island, what I would suggest, because we got to be more about making good suggestions and not just criticizing, is the fact that we don't have to follow the Westminster system heel to toe, hook, line, and sinker. We could modify this. And permanent secretaries, you could have someone come up maybe as a senior senior advisor or something. But when it comes to managing these different agencies, that should be also decided by the will of the people when they change the government. Because the permanent secretary should be the brightest mind in the country at that time at the change of the government. And it should be to the prime minister to select the brightest minds to manage these different agencies to push his agenda forward. Because if you want to make radical change in the Department of in the Ministry of National Security, it's going to be tough for him to do that because you got the permanent secretary and on a run.
And they the person that's responsible for implementing the policy.
Exactly.
Right.
There's a conflict right there. It's a conflict. You cannot have that conflict. And when we compare it to our neighboring system in the U.S., every 4 years, all the secretaries you're talking about, Secretary of Homeland Security, Secretary of Defense, all those guys are gone once the president goes.
Yeah, you got to ship up and pack up and get out. Yep.
You got to go. This is not a permanent position. And then the new guy comes in and then picks again the brightest people who are going to support his agenda. You can't have conflict like that, man, and that's why it doesn't work.
This text says, loyalty is the word, Dr. Uncle and Dr. Tinker. Missed you, Dr. Tinker. Yes, I agree. All permanent secretaries have to go every 5 years. They are loyalists to their party, but it is hard not to kiss the ring and butt of the person holding the money bag. Like Cookie Monster says, I'll do anything for Cookie.
A good Sesame Street. Good Sesame Street analogy, man. Whoever wrote that used to watch Sesame Street.
Let's run back to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio today. Calling you live.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Good afternoon to both of you. This is my first time calling your show.
Okay, you have a familiar voice too.
Sound like a permanent secretary.
I know.
I love the contribution of the brother. I think the brother really is on point with some of his premise. But let me just state this. My first time voting was in 1973. And I've been voting for a long time. The point I want to make, this present prime minister is the second prime minister I have learned to love like a brother.
Wow.
Since Linden.
Okay.
But I am of the belief that he have about three principles that is against him. And I think I want to make this point before I get to that point.
Yeah.
This country was very disingenuous to my fallen brother, my personal spiritual brother, Vaughn Miller.
Okay.
I don't see him, I don't do the politics, but he is my spiritual brother.
Yeah.
And I think his family and his one son don't deserve this abuse. I think they need to heal peacefully without anyone trying to take him through the mud.
Yeah.
He served and he stood for his principle that he believed in. Having said that, I want to go back to my prime minister. The two premises that he has against him. The liberal force that are in this country that are trying to force his hand into some liberal views. He needs much prayers. Now many of them are entering into politics with their agenda. And I hope he would stand for him. Open up his eyes. You are a spiritual man. I listen to your show. Open his eyes spiritually and understand the force that he is up against.
Yeah.
The next force that he is against, the spirit of entitlement. There are poisons right in his political circle.
Yeah, man.
They've been around from Noah built the big old ark. Some of them never was able to run a candy kitchen on their own.
My Lord.
So why you keep bringing them back?
And they are like buzzard. You know some big buzzard in Andrews? Some big buzzard just looking. And many of them call these show. And that's what happened to my fallen brother, Vaughn Miller. When you can't support the spirit of entitlement and greed, could never get full, then they come against you. The great JFK asked this question. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. These people who support colors, and I support my color, but I have never voted for political favors or to become a political prostitute. That is one of the major premises that is killing this country. We're not.
I tell you that thing, and I tell you that the electorate.
I know. Yeah. That is one of the major. And you know, there's a saying, all of my children, all of my siblings love myself the best. This selfish greed of people who never run a candy kitchen, depend on government gas, government vehicle, kickbacks, spirit of entitlement. I call on my prime minister, if you don't do something about this, all of these persons who are like buzzard, I call them buzzard, who want contract and can't even read a rule or a square.
My Lord.
I mean, it's a disgrace to see these big, rusty buzzard just, want to suck and suck and suck. They don't love country. I am convinced, I've been voting from 73, they don't put country first. They all into their selfish entitlement, and when they can't get it, then they come against the organization rather than supporting the organization and moving forward.
Who you know?
I agree.
You check a team. You check teams. If you watch football or any sports, they support each other to win.
Yes. Texas say that man is fantastic.
To win. I see Buffalo put the thing on Kansas City with the defense. They come with a plan because they want to win.
That's
and
right.
I love Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
But this group, all they want to go wrong, hey boss, hey prime minister, hey prime. They don't love the man.
No.
Because if they love the man, you get last year. Why you want to be a hog and get again this year?
See, you know the hog does get slaughtered.
The hog can't get full.
You got to get slaughtered.
Hog, any hog you feed, they cannot get filled.
My Lord.
The spirit of entitlement, I don't know if the Prime Minister could do anything about it. That is what killing this country on both sides, the FNM and the PLP. I see someone was a consultant in one of the political parties and couldn't spell A. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Hey, listen, everything he said is on point.
Yeah.
Because again, okay, you know, I feel bad to slaughter these buzzards. But they learn that from eating all the drips of the corn and the feed that the people in power give them.
My Lord.
And the more corn and feed they pick up, the bigger these hogs and buzzards get. So I expect them to stop eating now.
One Texas said that man is fantastic. They agreed 100%.
Big buzzards, man.
Yeah,
You know?
they say take, but the government keeps being dumb and giving. You can't buy my vote. This country is going to the trash. That's what one Texas say. Let's run back to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio today. Caller, you live.
Yes, good afternoon to both of you. C. Alan Johnson, critical
My
thinker.
brother, how you doing, man?
If you allow me to address a couple of points, but
Sure.
the last point before you do hang up on me, I just want to do some house cleaning first. My primary call was to speak concerning the tokenization and its role in the new economic frontier that's being built across the world and the need for the Bahamas to lead in it. But let me just do some housekeeping on the role person. Kalish Roll, he did not work for Tech unless my memory is incorrect. He went to Sterling Bank and Trust or Sterling Services or something, private banking or something of that effect. As far as I remember, Ryan Tyndall was the only one that went there, besides William Allen served on the board, I think, for about 6 or 7 years of Sterling Bank and Trust. Not Sterling Bank and Trust, of Deltec Bank. So just for correcting that record right there. I didn't say the others have not went to any bank, but from a ministerial post transferring in, that is what has occurred. On top of restriction of individuals leaving the House of Assembly and the judges and things of that sort.
The cooling off period.
Yeah, the cooling off period. There's no universal standard for that particularly. The problem I have is that it's not what, this is not, I know what it's supposed to prevent them to do, but generally speaking, the ethical considerations has done a job in most developed countries and developing countries to correct that. And so the concept that when even our members of the court leaves and put their names on the masthead, and it's very important because putting your name on the masthead, and governor generals do this, central bank governors and others do this around the thing, it lets them know concerning the affiliation with this particular firm, and you bringing the wealth of experiences that got you to the position of that to this particular firm. But I've observed in regards to this, and just let me say for all of those people who think I know something, for 25 years of coming home and 25 years of working for 2 foreign entities, I won't say whose job was to observe other countries and their natural resources and other different things to understand the benefits for those particular countries. I understand. So when I came home, I committed myself to give as much as I gave to those 2 countries as I've done to the Bahamas. But it says you can't manage what you can't measure. I mean that what you don't understand. And that's what I've spent my time doing. So whenever an issue directly comes to governance in the Bahamas, I do think I have a little bit of information to add to it. But when you put a name on the masthead, even here in the Bahamas and other places, I think just here in the Bahamas, I do think they have the ethical consideration, and that's how they got to our court system, to recuse themselves, knowing that even judges they work with would have to recuse themselves from cases that they were to come back into court representing those cases. And so, because you kind of like stand out, like the thumb you put in the ink, you'll kind of stand out in restricting to that. And so
it's like you're saying it's like a type of self monetization type situation.
Right. See, when you have to...
Yeah, but one second, let me just interject. That sounds good, but we need something to mitigate that, because even in the UK, where our system would come from, the UK has a 2-year ban on members of parliament leaving certain positions or members of the government where they cannot go back into the industry. The US has it also called the Government Code of Ethics, where you cannot go back into the field.
No, but see, I was going to come to that, because what happens is when we conflate and convolute positions from the court system to members of parliament to various different things, it then talk as if we're talking about a whole system of corruption, like what we have, a corruptible system. But let me say this, right? What we have to do is we as a country must work towards governing ourselves to a point where transparency, accountability, integrity, anti-corruption, and freedom of information doesn't need to be mandated by law. It happens naturally as part of our culture. And I do believe that as we move into this age of technological advancement, that will become more apparent, because individuals will sway away. Because the fact is that even if as government has been able to keep previous information, almost 75% of current information, once it's spoken, appears anywhere, people like me have access to it. And that's Data Protection Bill on the 15th concerning moving towards constitutional privacy, protection, and sovereignty of data. Another conversation for another day. But we are...
One more minute, because I got my lines full. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, then I'm just simply saying that because when you... One more, and then let me get to the thing. Just two things. You talk about this new structure of the government where you need the 9. I think the Constitution mandates 9 members of parliament. The first political party that made a recommendation of this was in 2015 with United Democratic Party, for which I serve as chairman. In fact, we were the first party that brought natural resources to the forefront as part of a political structure from the Sovereign Wealth Fund. And so we had a prime minister without a portfolio as part of our process, the 9 cabinet ministers and secretaries who serves in those positions that Dr. Tinker speaks about and answers to the prime minister and the cabinet, and those 9 PSs would serve to implement the policies.
So how you always gonna move the ones who was already there?
No, because each one of those up, you could. No, they could hold titles, and they could be. The problem is, we just have to have a leadership that who's desirous of this. I only have a few minutes, but just let me switch back to the
30 seconds, because I got my lines full.
No, I know you ran on for a minute, but see, just
go ahead. I'm working with you, but hurry up.
Okay, what I'm saying to this, when you talk about crypto, we use a blend of cryptocurrencies, tokenizations, and all of these things that come under the word crypto or digital assets. And it does a bad thing for us. I am anyone who knows, I don't believe in cryptocurrencies. Okay? I consider them marbles. Okay?
Asan dollar is a crypto? What Asan dollar is?
No, that's what I'm telling you. I said I don't believe in cryptocurrencies. Asan dollar is a crypto, but it's not a cryptocurrency.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that when you start talking about tokens, what Donald Trump said that he will do, and he has done, the Genius Act, eventually coming with the Clarity Act, he has now made that that tokens, stable coins, which is just a subcategory of tokens from the United States regulation, being be backed by U.S. dollars, which creates a wonderful thing. We should consider this. So in essence, when you now if I form a token, I must now back it by U.S. currencies, and the way to back that by U.S. currencies is to buy U.S. bonds. So in essence, I'm buying U.S. debt. So now you may ask, how do you make money using crypto once it's backed by the debt? Because you always have to keep it peg to peg. That is where the genius is in those who are involved with the Genius Act. It is an absolute possibility, if we understood what is being done there, for us to eliminate our national debt in 5 years, not by deflating as people is afraid of that Donald Trump will do, that China and Russia warned about. But in case you don't know, and this is the final statement, when Donald Trump did that, I want you to consider that $1 million is 1 year, $1 billion is 1,000 years, and $1 trillion is 1 million years. So when you start talking about Donald Trump moving 37 million years of currency into a whole different industry, then you have people like BlackRock, Blackstone, Vanguard, and others who also promised to remove thing. In fact, it has been said, nothing in the world today that can be tokenized will not be tokenized. And so I'm just saying, as myself and my wife, we consider ourselves in the aspect of tokenization, fintech, property tech, reg tech, soup tech, and those different things. And if the Bahamas, which is a unique opportunity that we have, we were the first movers with the DARE bill, and we stood still. We have an opportunity to become first movers, in spite of Donald Trump just passing the law, and actually managing it, because nothing in the world, they said nothing in the world will not be tokens. Guess what? Nothing in the world that token is built on won't be data. He who manages data manages the world.
Thank you very much, my brother. We have to do a whole show on that. I mean, I don't know if it's too genius. If you in control and you have all the marbles and you make all the rules, I ain't nothing genius for that. You're just making rules to make it work. That's how I see it. But he could explain it one other day. Let's run back to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio today. Call you live.
Yeah, Uncle and Dr. Tinker.
How you doing, man?
Brother.
Doing great. Very interesting conversation today. Just wanted to pick off quite quickly here on as far as the Constitution. And I love the commentary that Baba P. would have put out there that would have been 2 callers ago.
Mm-hmm.
I agree in every aspect to what he's spoken to, especially the hoggish ways of persons supporting these political parties that they eat at the trough, and they feel that nobody else should eat at the trough when their particular political party is in governance. It's atrocious. We all should be eating at the trough, and it should not be select few eating at the trough. Yeah. The Constitution from I know from the time of Linden and A.D. Hanna and the cabinet back then was that we were told that the Constitution is indeed a living, breathing document, which means that, or a series of documents, which means that we are able as a people to go in and manipulate, make changes, make amendments, so on and so forth. It's really amazing that our Constitution basically, in the spirit or in the way it was written way back then, primarily still in that in the same way all these years. We've seen countries such as Canada, Australia, actually significant amendments to their constitution, bringing it forward to this century. But yet we are still living as if we are back in the 1960s because persons are afraid to make the necessary changes to the document to bring us wealth and prosperity, especially in the financial aspect, to the hands of the average, ordinary day Bahamian. I'll close on this one point. It has to
reflect the will of the people. It has to reflect
the power of the people. And, many persons will ask themselves whether what we're going through in this country today is an accident, but to many of us, it is actually intentional. Because in order to control the people, instead of putting your hand out and begging, we should not even be putting out our hands to beg. We should automatically, because it's our inalienable right and to have access to everything of this country. We shouldn't have to beg for it. It should automatically come to us as a people. But I don't blame the politicians. I blame we the people, especially the so-called learned ones who knows better. But all because it's about their party being in, right? But in particular when they're doing wrong. They still call the wrong a right and try to throw the wool over our eyes to have us believe that what we think and feeling inalienably is not what we are thinking and feeling. It's atrocious. My last point here. It's very interesting you mentioned about the permanent secretaries in these ministries. We talk about, they control the day-to-day operation of the ministry. It's not the minister. The minister is a legislator. But it's the permanent secretary that does the day-to-day work.
Yeah.
I mean, every 5 years, the same permanent secretaries are in the same position, regardless of whether these ministries are corrupt or not. And I agree with the point that when the 5 years come, that they should be removed. At one time, I think it was Ingram or it may have been Minnis that actually began to rotate these permanent secretaries and put them into other ministries to break the monotony on the power control that they have in these ministries. That needs to happen. This country cannot continue going down the pathway. And, it's sad that you want to point them out in particular, but not the only ones. We have many examples of many of these ministries and many of these government agencies, including the Department of Immigration, and we could go down the list, that seems not to be working in the best interest of the Bahamian people. So we got to fix the Bahamas. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah, the caller was very clear with that. It's very clear. You see, the Constitution has the ability to be amended. An amendment means to make change. So if you have a document that you're holding the people subject to that doesn't reflect the will of the people, okay, then the document it's in total contrast of the direction of the people want to be in.
The problem, the problem I see is that anytime you try to do that, if the electorate is not
they got to be educated.
It falls right back into the politics. It just goes right back into the political fodder, and they just go right back to their political allegiance versus actually looking at what is in front of them.
I totally agree. But I wanted to put this out before we take another call.
Sure.
But I wanted to say this. Let me look at these political parties and we look that they go to their manifesto. Sounds so scary. A manifesto. Most killers write a manifesto. How we can do you right in. You see, when we go to these do-in documents, actually I like that song, Do Right In.
Yeah.
We go to these do you right in documents. A lot of them are not appeasing to everybody. Let me just say something, because I really love the Bahamas, and I would love one day to possibly come home and run for office and really make some serious changes down there. And some of the things that I would do immediately, which any political party coming to your doorstep right now should be singing these things. Number one, developing or restoring the healthcare confidence in the Bahamas, which we spoke to on the last show. That is totally paramount.
Yeah.
Okay? Literally, in my opinion, for such a small population of people, the eradication of VAT. You shouldn't need VAT. We have enough tourists where we could offset VAT on the tourists and not on the native. The tourists can pay 10% VAT.
Move VAT out of the way.
What you need it for? When I went to the store and I buy one soda and one honey bun, it was $1, not $1.10. Okay, but when you look at it, VAT is not needed in our jurisdiction because we got, and the PLP bragging about the amount of tourists coming to the Bahamas. The tourists have no problem paying VAT because they come from jurisdictions where they pay taxes on everything. When you go to Venice, Italy, the Venetians don't pay taxes.
Wow.
The tourists pay the tax. So the government could offset this overnight. They brought it in overnight. They could take it away overnight. Another thing, the duty. Having sharp duties for Bahamians bringing in stuff, all that means is you have a lazy government with no vision to create industries to reduce duty, because the whole purpose of tariffs, which is a duty, is to protect the local industry, right? But who in the Bahamas does make anything except for come sell it? If you ain't making no car, if you ain't making toilet tissue or sheet, if you're not making anything that I buy, I should not pay duty on it.
Yeah.
Because you don't make it. We're not protecting the local industries.
Right.
You protecting stuff that was made in America and Canada, and you want to charge your people duty to bring it in to protect your buddies and friends' businesses? That's insane in this day and age.
That's exactly what it's been. Even when you
understand?
You used to be able to bring in used cars over 10 years, and then to protect some industries here, they decide, you got to be 10 years, it can't be older than 10 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Then we talk about, again, if these guys coming in your face, our seniors have worked hard in this country, and you want to offer them $250, what is it? $300 is the measly rate.
For pension or what?
For pension, for seniors that are retired. I think it's like a few $100s.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Something like that should be at the minimum for seniors because our country is so small, but round that off to $1,000 a month. And no taxes on anything that seniors buy. No property tax, no discounts on electricity, discounts on anything to do with the government, seniors should be entitled to. The few things I've said already, could rattle the population and get them behind you. But none of these leaders, whether it's Michael Pintard, Brave Davis, the COI fella, and any other fella, they're not talking these big dinosaurs type movement. They still talking about, well, Brave Davis did that, and the FNM did that, but we ain't gonna do this and we ain't gonna do that. Getting totally confusing the electorate on things that makes no sense.
So
I just gave you 6 or 7 bullets right now. Could totally transform the country overnight.
So the NIB retirement benefit, the amount is calculated based on the insured income over the best 5 earning years and the total number of contributions made ranging from 30% to a maximum of 60% of their average insurable wage. So they figure it out based on that.
It is so low because for so long, the minimum wage in the country has been $100 a week, $150 a week, or $200 or $250 a week. So when you tell a man, I can give you 30% of $250 a week of your last 5 hours, you can be making $300 a month.
Let's run back to the phone lines here. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. The Family of Violence, 242-300-5720. Call you live.
I got to take aspirin before I come on the show. I need a blood thinner.
How you doing, Carl?
Hey, what you say, bro?
What's happening, man? Listen,
right here, Brad.
2 quick points. I agree with the Permanent Secretary. No government is going to touch them because some may be for the government and some may be for the government. Now, you don't know who's who. So, if they had a system whereby they want this job, it's only 5 years and we moving everybody. So they ain't gonna be no, because this country is so small, this one can say, oh, victimization. They don't like this one, the next thing. So to get it straight, you give them the 5 years contract, everybody go. In this country, you could be home. And if you're familiar with somebody in an office, you could call home and call this one and tell them, I coming down. I want you to get this ready for me. This is what is going on inside the country. This is the reason why the country can't be fixed. You see, you need a strong person to really say, well, I don't care. By going the second time, I going to fix this country. I can gut it out like the fish, scale it good, and clean it out. My last point is the by-election. Now, the pressure's on Mr. Pintard. He lost that one in Grand Bahama. And if this one he lose now, the pressure on them to say, well, listen, you lose 2, and you're trying to go into the general election. I believe they have a problem.
What they could do between the election? They can't do nothing. What they could do? The general election radio?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they lose this one, see the pressure on them now. If they lose this one, take a look and say, well, how could you take us over into the general by election? But we going to see the best man win. Okay, all right, Tinker.
Thank you.
But even if
Tinker, let me throw this in there. Before we forget that train of thought, because you was talking about the discounts, right, for the seniors, right? This tax to say the senior discounts, I agree. The problem is this country so crooked, people will have their parents buying stuff for them so they could get the discounts.
No, what we could do with that is I knew they would do something like that, right? But what you could do with that is you could develop because they have it here in the U.S. You just develop a card,
right?
A card that could swipe where you could demand that the person has to be there. And the government could even put a maximum amount of accrual discount to say, okay, every month you have a maximum discount of $1,000 or something like that, which means they have to spend X amount of money. So there's ways to mitigate that. But listen, I'm a grandma's boy, raised by my grandmother, loved by my great-grandmother out of Fox Hill. You got to take care of the seniors, man.
Come on, you're right about that.
You got to take care of the seniors, man.
Because if all goes well, we all end up there. We all be seniors.
All end up there.
Yeah.
So this is something that everybody must run together and support. You got to take care of them. You know we're in the most expensive jurisdiction in the Western Hemisphere. A gallon of milk is about $8. You can give a senior $300 a month to tell them go buy bread and milk and live off of that.
Crazy.
No, you're putting the seniors in a bad position, man.
This texter says, I make beautiful top-tier Bahamian handbags. Great information. Thank you so much, texter.
So she want us put duty on her handbag.
We got all them people who bringing in them handbag, gotta dox them because we gotta protect her.
No handbags for the Philippines and the straw market. Get that lady. Tell that lady go in the straw market and sell her bags in there. To talk about bags, my grandmother and my great-grandmother and some of my granddads used to make straw bags.
Yeah.
And I remember being 6 years old, my grandmother would take these big straw bags, turn 12 into 6.
Mm-hmm.
I got 6 on each hand.
Mm-hmm.
I would go on the jitney, pay 50 cents, make it to the straw market, and walk through that straw market and sell them wholesale.
Man.
Because that's when the straw market was
the straw market.
Straw market, and only native things were sold in there.
Right.
And the government still didn't put duty on straw coming into the country.
Amen. Let's run to the break here on Guardian Radio today. Our special guest, Dr. Rudolph Tinker. I am your host, Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah. We'll be back after this.
You try to rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it, just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Some people come and go. Others work for you every single day, whether through free classes for students or programs for the elderly. We've been building Golden Isles for years, while others waited for their time to shine. I'm Brian Brown, and I know it is something you earned. On November 24th, vote FNM, because this time around, we're going with Brian Brown.
Paid for by the Free National Movement.
Mommy, guess what I did in school today? Hold on, sweetie. Mommy's sending a text. But Mommy, my teacher said that you're not supposed to text and drive. I know what I'm doing. Oh, look, Mommy, the Smith twins. Mommy, watch out!
In 2017, approximately 54 people died as a result of traffic accidents. A percentage of these fatalities occurred as a result of texting while driving. Just taking your eyes off the road for 5 seconds can increase your chance of crashing. Remember, even the smallest voice counts.
Texting.
Brought to you by UB Radio and Guardian Radio 96.9.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And we're back here on Guardian Radio today with your host, Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah. Our special guest today is Dr. Rudolph Tinker, talking politics and a whole lot of lines here. Caller, you're live.
Yeah, good afternoon, Anku. I'm not going to be able to comment on this, but I'm going to say, look, I listened to Professor Aziz earlier in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And with Professor, the Parliament of the Bahamas first convened on September 29, 1729. It took the PLP. It took 13. The PLP was formed in 1953. And just over 13 years, they were able to get rid of a our colonial masters would have ruled us for almost 300 years. Here it is now, fast forward today. We're supposed to be a little bit more educated than our grandparents, many of whom had to leave school, and great-grandparents, many who had to leave school at 14. Some that perhaps never even went to school. But they were able to galvanize themselves to form a majority government in 1967. Now, us, who's supposed to be more educated, who have more access to information, we can't even assemble to have a proper meeting, more or less get rid of a government. And it goes right back to what you said. It's only about egos, Ego is keeping us from accomplishing what we need to accomplish. But now, I heard you said also that, perhaps you were going to come back to run. You wouldn't stand a chance. Why? Because if you're not aligned to one or two of the major parties, common sense and intelligence are not prerequisites for voting nor for electing individuals. We elect them from rallies cracking jokes. I'm sure Anku put a lot of information, put a lot of time preparing for shows such as this, you too, in terms of coming on as a guest to give us something informative that we could build on. But all of this will be lost in the rubble over the next several months leading up to the elections when they start having these mega rallies, bringing these NF candidates on who don't understand even the basic tenets of becoming a member of parliament. You ask them, what is the primary function of a member of parliament? Many of them run over a bunch of nonsense. They can't tell you exactly what even their roles are, but they're running for office.
Totally agree with that.
In a serious situation.
Yep.
In a serious situation, and we cannot correct this unless, listen here, if debating in parliament is how they communicate with one another, why are the candidates and these leaders so afraid prior to us voting for them, Professor?
The main reason for that is because really they don't debate in parliament. They just go talk rubbish. Because once you get that 51% majority, it doesn't matter what the opposition says. They just do it because it's something that the rules say they have to do.
It's illegal. They give speeches in parliament, which is illegal. You're supposed to be debating.
Right. Exactly.
But there's no such thing. And if I were in parliament, one would be able to give no speech in parliament, not if I am there. They got to
Totally.
Totally.
I agree.
Where we are at. We don't even have a national development plan, Professor. So I don't know how you would be successful running if we don't have minus us having no political live debate.
And the line too long, man. The only way I could do something down there, the people must be willing to come together, make a new party, and get rid of the two, because I ain't got that much life left to wait in the wilderness for years.
You need a party, Professor. Professor. The problem isn't the party. Leaders control these.
It's the leaders.
Parties.
Yeah, the leader. The leader in there.
FNM and PLP and whatever, they only ask him. They can't do nothing to you. But the leaders and these leaders run the country without having a national development plan. They run it ad hoc from their head, but then we expect things to.
The national development plan is who you know.
When you're running the country ad hoc, if you need a permit to build a 6-feet wall, you're trying to tell me now you don't need. If you need a plan to build a wall, you're trying to tell me now you don't need a plan to run the country.
The national development plan is who you know.
It's just so we're not going to get no results. No matter who you put there, you're not going to get no results. You're still going to be moving around like a chicken without head, because these fellas going to run the country ad hoc. They wake up in the morning and they make a decision on behalf of us.
On behalf of
madness with the Intelligentsia Committee. Right now we have the University of the Bahamas. They were the ones who are supposed to be driving these debates. The media, everyone who have a mic in their hand, they're the ones who are supposed to be driving it.
I was just going to say the University of the Bahamas is supposed to play a bigger role in shaping the direction of the country.
Of course. That's how the U.S. function. They get their information from universities.
Them fellas over there, they want to protect their paycheck. They want to protect their paycheck, man. They ain't into that.
But the intelligentsia community have a lot on their hands in terms of them not pushing the narrative where common sense and intelligence can prevail. But it is what it is, Professor, but we got to create an atmosphere where common sense and intelligence prevail, because I don't see it happening with these. And I'm very sick and tired of these debates and these rallies without political live debate. Yes, there's room for rallies, but you got to check these people to see whether they are fit and ready to be serving in the highest elected office in the land. When we're in problem.
I agree.
Yes,
I think
sir.
when they go to that rally and they start playing the PLP song, "Keep the Fire," no, that's the F&M song, "Keep the Fire Burning," and whatever the PLP song is, I think that's like a voodoo, and it just possessed them. And they
I really believe Stephen Dillon. I really believe Stephen Dillon would have left something in that parliament. I don't know what it is, but he may have left something there, because common sense and intelligence don't come out of that parliament when they're banging on them there and acting and doing a bunch of nonsense. But hopefully we can get some debate leading up to the next election. I'm not talking about no leadership debate. I'm talking about where all candidates vying for a particular constituency debate the socio-economic relative to the area that they want to represent. That's the only way, and calm it down, because this is going to be a very nasty, filthy election if you don't calm it down with political live debate.
I agree, man. I agree. Good point. Good point. I agree.
Right now we have live soundbite debates. That's basically what they're doing, putting sound bites in the media, and then having people talk about it. That's as close as we get to debates.
But I do believe in a brighter future for the Bahamas, because I have this fascination about coming home and building a house on a high rock and watching the water. And while I'm in my kitchen cooking, I'm looking at the ocean, or if I go to the toilet, I could see the ocean. So I believe that's my retirement vision right there.
Yeah.
But listen, you could do this, but people just have to be willing to give something up. And everybody keep talking about the who you know, but you know what the who you know is? The who you know is something that we call in politics, that's the black economy, not black as in people, but that's the underground economy. Because the who you know, legitimate economy. Because every place you go in now, so whether it be government, private sector, you know someone, you get in the front of the line. You know someone, you get it done faster.
Let me try getting these couple of calls.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Caller, you live here on Guardian Radio today. Caller going once. Giving everybody but 30 seconds, trying to clear the line.
Ain't losing the caller.
I know, right? Caller, you live. You're live on Guardian Radio today.
Kermit cleared the callers.
No, this Mr. Penniman here today. Caller, you live here on Guardian Radio today.
Sure.
Yeah, how are you doing? I'm great, man.
Right, I'm going to ask your guest, right, what would he do concerning the light bill? Because you was a religious man, right? And you would use cuff when you open up that light bill.
Yeah.
Hey,
listen, I got to answer for that.
You was a righteous man.
Because before I open it.
You have to tell the wife, baby, close the door. The children ain't around, right? Then when you open it up, a big 5 pound will come up. Don't lie.
Yeah, but when I see the email, yeah.
Wow.
Don't lie. We ain't going to judge you. We know that.
Yeah,
we know that.
I give it real. But what
you all think we need to do with this light bill?
Go ahead. Let me give you a...
Thank you, caller. Thank you.
Listen, okay, like I told you offline and online, I don't know what has happened when the MPs of the Bahamas fly abroad and when they come back. It's either something on the plane or something in that airport that zap their intelligence and they just go back to being up. We're a few miles off the coast of Florida, where you have within Florida Power and Light, Duke Energy, massive companies here developing energy. You tell me the PM or the Minister of Education can't come to the U.S., have a talk with Florida Power and Light, and say, listen, buddy, we right across the street. We will give you guys what you need. Come here, set up shop, reduce the energy for us. We'll give you all the land.
Someone ain't gonna be able to sell gas, and that's the problem.
See, that's the problem there.
Let's get this last call in. That's the problem, right? It's correct. Caller, you live here on Guardian Radio today.
Hey, Uncle, this is Dennis McHugh again.
Yeah, my brother.
What I'm saying is that what we have to do is take care of our children our daughters,
Mm-hmm.
our women,
Mm-hmm.
and the elderly and the sick.
Yes, yes, yes.
And we have to be forthright with that because that's what Q's stand for.
That's right.
In this country, the politicians them go there, and like Naughty likes to say, about family, friends, lovers, homies, and cronies.
Mm.
And when they fly out on these planes, you know they go on and they come back with whatever conversations they had, what deals they cut, and who they within their cabal
Mm-hmm.
and their clique,
Mm-hmm.
political clique. You just waiting to mark when X every 5 years or every little by-election, which may happen
Yeah.
because someone has fallen. You know?
Yeah.
You know,
Thank
we
you.
have to be strong.
Thank
and
you.
Stand
Thank you.
for the weak and the female and all this other foolishness and the elderly and stuff. That's what I have to say.
I with you on that, man. Appreciate that call. Dr. Tinker, give you the last word, man.
But, you see, I'm of the mindset I don't believe, and it is believe in that terminology. I hate that terminology. And when I come and I fly home quite often, I want to be honest, man. It really sickens me to see how some of our island brothers and sisters are living.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in the Bahamas in let's call it the 80s, as I'm a 79 kid,
Mm-hmm.
where we had a lot of pride, man.
Yeah.
Where you would never see a woman using a weed whacker on the side of the road, say she cutting grass because she on contract. We would normally see that for foreigners to be doing stuff like that.
Mm.
So proud that every year we would paint our house and be ready for Christmas and everybody get trinkets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But now you go through some of these inner cities and you see just stress on these people's faces.
That's right. It's true.
We look at some of the crimes that's happening. These are crimes of just fed up and pure stress. And I saw some lady was on Facebook the other day talking about she's losing her mind and that she's going to commit suicide. Man, it's to me,
rough.
it's really, really disgusting.
It is rough. Yes.
In this day and age, in a small, tiny jurisdiction, members of parliament, and they can't figure it out.
Greed, my brother. Greed.
They can't figure it out.
Greed.
Come on, man.
Greed.
And it goes back to the people. Y'all need to stop the nonsense and stop accepting the status quo and thinking you have to vote this way.
Yeah. The ignorance. We
Even
gotta fight
if
ignorance.
even if you vote them in, you can remove them before the 5 years. Vote a no confidence vote. Go to the streets, march. But let me tell you something. I just don't get it. I just don't know why this group of people that say they're the smartest in the world. We haven't sent a missile to the moon yet, but the things that we need to fix, we can't address. We refuse to address it because everybody's getting a side piece. Everybody's getting a little chip on the side. So they're worrying about you. Boy, they got me now, boy. I got that contract. I got to go mow down the road, and I got to fix one 10-foot sidewalk. I mean...
Our special guest today, Dr. Rudolph Tinker. We didn't have enough time to solve all the, but I think
we can't.
we gave you an earful, and I pray that it begins to create the Bahamas that we both envision, which is a better Bahamas. So thanks to our producer, Mr. Penniman, and also thank you to the callers and the texters. Thanks to our special guest again, Dr. Rudolph Tinker. My name is Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah. The Talking Heads are up next with Naughty. Keep it here on 96.9 Guardian Radio. Fresh news, smart talk all day. Namastu family.
Thank you.